quarterback Dante Culpepper. He'll sit and learn and develop behind Randall Cunningham and Jeff George. And at the 29th pick, look for the Vikings to turn to defense, looking for a cornerback or defensive lineman. Now let's head to Ed Werder.
Well, here in New Orleans, Mike Ditka gets the guy he wants, and he gets him cheaper than he expected. The Saints offered the Colts 3 #1 picks to get in position to take Ricky Williams. They only give 2 of those #1 picks to the Washington Redskins to move up and get him with the 5th spot. Now, Mike Ditka's out of picks for the rest of this draft, so look for the Saints to scour what's left in the free agent market to try and build a team now around Ricky Williams on offense. Let's go to Solomon Wilcox.
In Foxborough, the loss of Robert Edwards has left a huge void in the Patriots' backfield. And now with Ricky Williams and Edgerrin James now gone, the Patriots general manager Bobby Greer and head coach Pete Carroll must decide if they'll use one of their 2 first-round picks to take a running back, or will they take one in the 2nd round. Now let's send it out to Hank Goldberg.
In Miami, in reviewing the Dolphins roster with Jimmy Johnson, it was apparent that there were very few openings. But one area where they could upgrade is still at the running back position. And while they tried hard to work their way up to get Edgerrin James and failed, and they will have to face him twice next year, at least Jimmy is checking his list to see where he can get an edge at running back. One consolation, the Patriots didn't get him. Now let's go to Denver, Tommy Jackson.
Here in Denver, the Denver Broncos have watched 14 players taken off the board, only 3 on the defensive side of the field, 2 of those cornerbacks. So Mike Shanahan, who would certainly like to upgrade his defensive front in terms of speed and depth, has some options available to him with the 11 choices he has in the draft. He can use some of that and go to an upgrade or stay where he is at 31. Now let's go to Chris Mortensen in New York.
The NFL quarterback shuffle is not over. The Baltimore Ravens are acquiring Tony Banks from St. Louis for 5th and 7th draft picks next season, and they are sending backup quarterback Eric Zeier to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a 6th-round pick. Where does that leave Warren Moon? That was 2 out of his 3 options. Probably the Kansas City Chiefs or even retirement. Chris?
All right, Mort, well, the Buccaneers making the move after neither Dante Culpepper or Cade McNown were available for Tony Dungy in the 15th spot. Now, we should elaborate on it a little bit. Trent Dilfer is still the man. He's a year removed from the Pro Bowl season that he had. But last year, of course, the quarterback, as you know, Joe, gets more of the credit and perhaps more of the blame than he deserves. But the Bucs, the hardest thing they experienced last year was great expectations. They toppled out of the playoff hunt. Fingers pointed at Dilfer. So Zeier is not really there to push him, but he's there just in case. That's why Tony Dungy, Rich McKay might have looked at a young quarterback to push just in case things go wrong. But now they have their backup quarterback. I think they got to look offensive line.
I agree with you, Chris. I also think with Paul Gruber getting a little bit older, you're certainly going to need something on the offensive line. In all likelihood, that would be the way to go. I wouldn't rule out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking one of the other quarterbacks, maybe a Sean King or a Joe Germain, in a 2nd or a 3rd round pick. Not that you want to come in and scare Trent Dilfer, but you still have to say to yourself, okay, if Trent continues to struggle a little bit, where are we going to go? We have to look at this thing as a franchise and figure out what's best for our football team. I personally think that Trent Dilfer can rebound and have an excellent year, a Pro Bowl season like he did a couple years ago. He's going to need to, because with Jaquez Green and Anthony Riddell on the outside, he's going to have some receivers that are going to be able to get down the field. And you just have to get more production out of this offense that Tampa Bay has throwing the football.
Well, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were a laughingstock for years and years and years. But Rich McKay, then Tony Dungy, the tide has changed, although last year a disappointing season. But first, they have made their pick, and I think it's got to be Gibson, probably, maybe Shelton.
With the 15th pick in the draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Anthony McFarland, defensive tackle, LSU.
See, we try to guess. Well, for value, is he the best guy left, Mel? What do you think?
He's a good football player, and everybody was trying to go up to get him. And we talked about Denver and some other teams earlier, but you look at Anthony McFarland, a tough kid, 6'1", 299. Look at the hustle of number 94, chasing, never quitting on a play, and driving the ball carrier to the ground. I think you look at the quickness, the explosion, that low center of gravity. 6'1", 299, but long arms. Watch the quickness there. First into the backfield before the quarterback from Florida, Doug Johnson, can even hand the ball off. Here against Auburn, moving in for the sack, punishing football player. He catches a pass every now and then. You look at Anthony McFarland, Joe.
First thing that comes to mind, first thing I see when I look at these highlights, first thing I think of Warren Sapp. I see a guy with that kind of quickness, that kind of athletic ability, a young football player who can go sideline to sideline with a lot of speed. To me, as you look at that highlight, you've got to say to yourself, wow, there's another Warren Sapp. There's a guy who can get out, get across the field, make plays, and is an athlete. When you see him go out and catch a pass, he's more than just a guy that can just pound the ball in the middle of the football field. He's a nice kind of an athlete, so he's got an edge of athletic ability to him. You got to like what Tony Dungy has done here. Hey, they want to be tough on defense. This is a great addition.
Well, 249 tackles as a 4-year starter. And you know who he looks like as we go to Tom Jackson to study these defensive players? He looks like Michael Dean Perry. And you know what? Michael Dean Perry was a pretty good ball player, Tommy.
Well, the thing about McFarland that stands out is he is like Warren Sapp. Joe is exactly right. But in terms of pursuit, I think he is faster than Warren Sapp. In his pursuit to the ball, you watch him pursue across the field, a nonstop motor, a guy who was on the field constantly when he played in college. And I think he is a can't-miss guy, an odd body type, but the quickness at the line of scrimmage and his ability to get across and cause some devastation in the opposing backfield, I don't think that we will see a better pair as we anticipate Warren Sapp and Anthony McFarland playing together. Let's go to Chris Fowler.
Well, TJ, thank you. My guy for you saw Anthony McFarland, nicknamed Booger, play a lot at LSU, and really teams in the SEC had to gear their blocking schemes around trying to double team him. Even as a nose tackle in a 3-4 defense, 8 sacks. That's impressive.
They had to double team Anthony McFarland because one thing that everybody said, he plays hard. He makes everybody on your defense a better player. He redirects, he pursues. He is an outstanding defensive lineman. This is the lowest I've seen a defensive lineman in all the time I've done a draft, Kirk.
Well, he's a great run stopper. You've seen him many times. We all had an opportunity to see him. The thing that I love about him is his first step. He gets through the gap, he gets upfield, and he applies a great deal of pressure on opposing quarterbacks. The quickness that he provides, along with Warren Sapp up front, that's pretty scary.
Booger headed to Tampa, and you like the pick.
I like it.
So to speak. Oh. Tennessee Titans are on the clock as NFL draft coverage continues from Bristol. Sorry about that. It's a long day.
Welcome to Mc...
Hey, speaker dude. You got Pepsi?
Sorry.
No Pepsi?
No way.
Mountain Dew?
No, we don't.
Powerade?
No.
Diamond Shamrock Corner stores feature as many as a dozen fountain drink choices like Coke, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew, and IC. And now all those flavors are just 49 cents. You want more choices? Tropical Punch.
Nope.
Pink Lemonade? Hey, whatever's cool with you.
What's so great about Max Hits at 8 in April? Hey, everyone needs a little spice in their life. Max Hits at 8 in April.
It's one great movie choice after another on Cinemax and Cox Cable.
Sports Century's 50 Greatest Athletes, a year-long celebration. Number 39, Walter Payton. Friday at 10:30 on ESPN. Presented by General Motors.
It began as the product of meticulous Japanese design, but it was sent to Europe for finishing school. It was tested on Austria's Alpine roads, refined on Germany's Autobahns, and chased on England's racetracks. Now the car that's proven itself in Europe is crossing the pond. Introducing the all-new 99 Infiniti G20. Born in Japan, educated in Europe, now available in America.
This ESPN News presentation of the 1999 NFL Draft is brought to you by Infiniti. Own one and you'll understand. By 3D FXPC accelerators. So powerful, it's kind of ridiculous. And by Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Bond, Tennessee.
Welcome back to New York. We were at the median of the first round in the NFL Draft. And for the first pick ever in the history of the Tennessee Titans. And you say, wait a minute, they've been around for a while. This is their new helmet, with a new name, with a new home.